Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram. That's with a Z. Formerly the Pothead Picker. And yeah, it's another weekend or another week of reselling. I actually did 2 of these weeks in a row. I did the one last week and then this week, surprisingly. I was able to get one in. Tomorrow's Halloween. So we haven't done as many, like there's usually a ton of friggin' trunk or treat things, but my wife was working this weekend, so I would have taken them by myself. But we had a Halloween party Sunday. Saturday, they were like, the time of the trunk or treat thing was like during when they would be taking their naps and shit. So, yeah. Plus, we didn't need that much candy because we're about to get a ton of candy tomorrow for the actual day of Halloween. It's crazy how many days of like fucking trick-or-treating there are. There's opportunities to go trick-or-treating as early as like 3 weeks ago, which is crazy. So yeah, just way too much candy. But it's been fun. We did there was one where you walk like up and down the main street, so all the businesses can kind of like advertise that they're open, and you know, they give you candy and shit, and it's cool. You know, you go down to a part of town that you don't always go to. I mean, there's a ton of stuff down there, but there's not really anything I need down there. So, but they're putting in more stuff. So it was fun. It was good. Yeah, and then as far as sales went this weekend, it's definitely starting to slow down. I went to one Friday, and it was an estate sale. So I got there first. This lady didn't advertise well at all. Like, somebody finally came when I was going to pay out. Like, I basically found whatever I wanted and then was going to pay out. Unfortunately, she was like, oh, yeah, my friend sells vintage clothes, so I had them here first. And they took a few things. So I don't know what they might have took, but I did find some good like vintage clothes. I found some like vintage Levi corduroys that I've never found before. And those look like they do okay. So I got everything for cheap. I helped her like put the ad up on Craigslist because she had done a terrible job. And then I still don't even think, I told her, I was like, hey, you have to check your email and like verify right away or your ad won't go up. And the ad still wasn't up when I was like driving home, so I don't think she actually verified it. But I got I got some hats. I got like a cool 1986 Celtics hat that was, like sports specialties or one of that thing. That was in pretty good shape. Like, it's a white hat, so it's tough to find shit like that. Like, it's not gonna have any blemishes, but it's just got like a little bit of. I don't even think it's got any, like, it's dirty at all. I just think it's the color of the hat. But so that was pretty cool. And I had my kid with me, so it's always harder to, because I wear her right now because she's at the age where like I could not bring her in, otherwise she would just be like a terror. I could probably bring my oldest, so I might have to, now that there's like only a few sales, bring the oldest and leave the youngest. So, and then what else? It was like Saturday wasn't great. I went to this one place that they said they had comics. I got there like 15 minutes before they were starting, and there was already people shopping. A lot of their stuff was set up, and like the lady was like, oh, I still haven't brought out the comics. And so I got a couple of like good comic books. I should have just waited, but I had the kid in the car, and like I didn't know how long it was going to take. So she ended up sending me a text, and she has like all these comics, but she said she wanted like $1,500 for these 3 boxes of comics. And I'm like, I could go over there and try to cherry pick, but I don't know what the deal with that is. So I might send a text message and see what's going on. But I really don't want to spend $1,500 on comics because I don't really sell comics. I like sit on them like an idiot. So I should start selling them because I have a ton of them. But I've been selling a ton of vintage clothes. I've become like a full-blown vintage clothing seller, which is good because I got like that's just all I've got coming in right now has been clothes. I mean, it's been good stuff. You know, some stuff sold for like 19 to 20, other stuff sold for 50, 100. So, and then I've been selling stuff on Marketplace too, which has been nice. I had somebody pick up some Legos that I had sitting around that were taking up space. I have another thing of Legos that hasn't sold yet. These ones were Bionicle, so they were like, you know, the guy was buying them for his kid, so he didn't really care if they were all... Like, I went through and tried to make sure it was all Lego. I went through it twice. But there are some Mega Blocks and, like, other stuff mixed in, so, you know, it is what it is. And then, they just I need to sell a couple other things on Marketplace because it's taking up so much space. I did sell, so somebody had put an ad out, and they were like, they were like, oh, does anybody have a yard sale coming up? We're cleaning out our storage unit, and you know we're looking for people to just take the stuff. We don't want anything for it, basically. So I sent a message, saying my usual spiel of what I look for. And she replied back. It was like, oh, I have all these Department 56 things. I think I talked about this before. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take them. So I took a bunch of them. I put them online for like $400 initially, dropped the price down to $200. I had somebody reach out and they were like, hey, would you do $150? So I was like, yeah, sure. They've been sitting for a little bit. So they kept flaking. Like I kept setting a time with them and they kept flaking. So I was just like, all right. They didn't reach out in the morning. And this other person reached out and they were like, hey, would you do $200 on this? I was like, or no, they just were like, hey, can I pick this up? Whatever. So I was like, sure. They want to pick it up the same day, I think. That's what it was. And the other guy was still like, it went from like, oh, I can come today to I can come tomorrow morning. Oh, I can come tomorrow afternoon to, oh, I can come tomorrow, the next day. So I just was like, you know what? I'll just take the full amount for it. Even though, like I said, I would do $150, but like after you flake X amount of times, it's like, I was patient enough. So I was like, I told them like, hey, sorry, I sold it. Full price. And what the fuck was that? So then, yeah, that was like 4 totes of stuff. So I just went through my basement and like grabbed all the shit that was like big that I was waiting to put on Marketplace that for whatever reason I didn't get to, so I'm hoping I can get rid of all that shit like soon. I got this fucking lava lamp that's still just sitting there. I need to lower the price on that so somebody buys it. I might just lower the price right now while I'm on the phone. Because that thing, my wife asked me the other day, she's like, so is this just like a permanent fixture or is this going to be going soon? I was like, well, hopefully it goes soon. So let me mark this thing down. I'm going to mark it down. If it's been in there a while, I usually go down like $20 because it's like you'd figure you'd get an offer for, So I'll split the difference. I'll do like 15 off. So, and that's the thing I like about Marketplace too, is because when you sell something, like I've sold shit for like $10 before, but like they'll come to the house or you'll just like meet them at the end of the street. But it's like perfect. That $10 adds up. And I've been better about actually marking the shit down. There we go. So I just updated it. So now the lava lamp's cheaper. So hopefully somebody buys it. So what else? Okay. So then after that sale, then I went from that sale over to this other house that was like, it said that they had brand new toys, like, this, that, and the other. So I go in and like they had a couple things outside and then the rest of the stuff was in the basement. Like it was really bizarre. Like not even put out, just in the basement. And I went there after the sale had supposedly started, I think. I don't know. There were some weird kids outside who were selling lemonade. I never give them money, but like the guy inside was kind of scary, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna like leave some money because this guy kind of scares me. I feel like he'll follow me home or something. And but I went in and they had like, some clothes and shit downstairs. I had my sunglasses on because it was sunny outside, and they're prescription. So like I forgot to put most of the time I'll just put my glasses in my pocket while I'm looking so I can grab the other glasses if I need them, like my regular glasses. But I ended up going into the basement with my sunglasses on, and it's harder for me to see without the sunglasses on than with them. So I was like, well, fuck it, I got to keep them on. So I'm looking around. All the brand new toys that they said they had were like just bullshit toys. Like it was like a Shang-Chi toy, like random shit that nobody wants. And so I was like, oh, do you have any video games? And the lady kind of got this weird, like, I do. I have an offer of $250 on them. It's like, all right, well, why haven't you taken that? You know what I mean? So she brings it out, and it's like, it was probably worth about $250 what she was asking, but like not like if I was gonna, you know what I mean? I would sell it for like $250 because it was like a couple old consoles. It was like a Wii. Wii's like maybe what, $20 if that these days. Sega's not highly sought after. Those are cheaper systems, and half the time those don't fucking work, and half the time they don't have the fucking cords that you need to, like, there's a specific power cord that I've been missing for it's like the 32 megabyte Sega Genesis. So I have one that I haven't tested. I'm waiting to find one with the cord because I had a cord somewhere. I don't know what the fuck happened to it. But anyway, so it wasn't like, it wasn't worth $250, but she did have a copy of Earthworm Jim 2, which was like a $20 game, and it was something that I wanted for myself. So like, I asked if they would sell it to me. They were like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, it goes for like 20 on eBay. So they were like, how about 15 for the 2 games? Because I got 2 games, and I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Like I overpaid, but they potentially were going to call me back for those other video games, and I was going to lowball the shit out of them after they didn't sell for whatever ridiculous price they wanted. So I was like, whatever. And he said he had some old Harley t-shirts. So I'm hoping they get back to me. And, but the guy was a little scary. He came down. He's like asking me about buying Harley t-shirts. And I'm like, yeah, And then they did that thing where they're like, you tell me, be fair with me. It's like, it's a yard sale. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking ask for a price. Like, you're having the sale. The amount of people that want you to price their shit at yard sales because they think it might be worth some money, it's fucking crazy. A lot of people are cool. They're just like, oh, whatever, dude, whatever you want to give me. But some people are like, yeah, well, what do you think? What do you think's fair? It's like, what do I think's fair? Like, you want this shit gone, right? So normally you have to pay somebody to take it if you're getting rid of it, but you don't want to sell it online, so here I am. You know what I mean? So, whatever. So, and it wasn't a great day. And then, where did I go after that? There was another sale that was, like, further away. I didn't feel like driving out to, so I just avoided that one. It's getting towards the time of the year that I'm like, you kind of need a break from yard sales after doing it, because you go so hard for so many weeks that you do kind of need a break. But then you start looking on like storage unit websites and looking for local auctions. And I mean, there's still going to be a couple sales, I'm sure, this weekend that I'll go to. Like when my wife's not working, or when my wife is working and I'm home with the kids, I probably won't go out unless it's like a can't miss sale. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like go out with the prospect of maybe finding something. Does that make sense? Like if there's a sale that I'm like, oh, I know I can be first to this sale. I can fucking get this shit, stuff like that. Like if it's like a not very advertised sale, because people don't really look that hard for yard sales out here. Like I find sales that people just somehow, it's like some people find, there's a couple people that know about one thing and then a couple people that don't know about the other. It's like, yeah, but I just like, I look everywhere. I fucking scour. And then there's the ones that you just find along the way. I feel like it always ends up talking about shit like this for whatever reason. So then, did I go? A Sunday, I didn't even go out. This was like the first Sunday in a long time that I said, fuck it. My wife was working. I had the kids. So was like, oh, sleep in. I slept until like 6:30. That's like sleeping in now for me. So I slept until 6:30. And then my kids got up at like 7:10. Yeah, it was like 7:10. I was hoping they'd sleep until like 8, but I mean they're used to getting up early, so they slept a little bit late. So yeah, it was nice not getting up and going, and I got some shit done because they wanted to just play inside because it was a little chilly. So they just were playing together, and I got to like get all my go through all the clothing that I have. So all of the clothing that I have has been like inventorized, pictured, whatever. Not all of it's been listed, but I've been working through it and selling stuff as I go. But yeah, it's been going well. But yeah, it was really nice to not get up on Sunday. That's what I meant to say. So it's getting towards that time of year where it's like it's cold. When I first started doing this, I would wait in line, fucking freezing my balls off, waiting for like an estate sale to open. Now, don't get me wrong, I still will do that for the right estate sale. You know what I mean? And it's only if I'm first in line, or like one of the first three, and the other people don't look like they're there for the things I'm there for. Like if you're first in line, a lot of times they'll ask you what you want, and they'll just take you to it and be like, here it is. You know what I mean? Or they'll like know that you're there for that, because they usually ask like, hey, or I tell them straight up like, hey, I'm here for this. When the first time I see them, I'm like, hi, I know I'm early. Is it okay if I wait? I'm here for the this, that, and the other. That way they're like, oh, okay, this guy's here for this shit. And sometimes they're like, all right, just come fucking get it. You know what I mean? You're here, just get it. You told me what you wanted. So, trying to be better about that. But yeah, so I didn't get a ton of stuff on Saturday. Just some comics. And I found like it was like a random sale. You could tell they were like dealers. But I found a bunch of stuff. I found these Jordans that were like nice ass fucking Jordans. And she was asking $75 for them. So I was like, fuck off, lady. I could have looked them up. They might have been worth like $200. Who knows? She might have taken $50. But it was in a barn that for a sale that wasn't advertised, with a tiny ass sign. Like she probably was gonna see two people. Then she was like, I should probably sell them online. It's like, yeah, no shit. Not in a dingy fucking barn where everything else is like cheap. So I spent like $20 there. Got a bunch of comic books, and I got a couple of Marvel Legend figures. So I'll probably sell those to pay for the comics, and then I just stashed the comics. Eventually, I'm gonna sell them. One day I want to do like a Comic-Con or something like that and just sell off a bunch of shit. One day. Not today, though. And, yeah, so was really cold the last couple days, and then today it's warmed up a little bit. It's supposed to be warm for Halloween, so all the fucking crazy serial killers can come out and do some murdering. Ooh, spooky. But yeah. All right, let me take a look at my list here. Oh, well, I should talk about this because it's like probably the right sweet spot in the pod. So coming up is the 1-year anniversary of the podcast. So it won't be 52 episodes. I mean, I don't know if that's what counts, or it's like if you start it, because I started it in November of last year. I'm pretty sure it was November of last year. And so this November obviously would make it 1 year of consistently doing it. Now, obviously I didn't do every single week because I would have 52 episodes. If that's how you count. Yeah, that sounds right. So my point is the 1 year anniversary. And I know I've talked about doing video before, but I'm going to do it and get the video up. I took a bunch of video before, and I took it on a GoPro, and when I went to go edit it, it had like chopped it up into 1,000 pieces for some reason. So it was like a bunch of smaller segments. So it would have taken me forever. So I have all of the footage for certain episodes, but I just need to figure out how to fucking do it, and then just do it. So I don't know, we're having a party for my daughter's birthday this weekend. It's also my daughter's 2-year birthday this week. And so yeah, we're having a party for her. So there's some people there that might know how to help me. I have to figure it out. And figure out how to do it so I can just like get it set up quick and easy. And yeah, and then do video. And then I want to start doing some live. So there's like a year or two, there's going to be some growth. Slow, just like slow, you know? I've done my business probably for about 5 years. So it's been almost exactly 5 years since I started doing reselling. I started like before the pandemic in 2019. Because I was just over. I was like, I had a really good job. I probably have said this before. But it just sucked. I hated it. I was like, this job fucking... Like, you had to go... Well, first, it was like, you know, I had to drive a long way. So, like, obviously, you don't have to pick a job where you have to drive I had to drive an hour and a half, I think, to get there. And then an hour and a half home. So, it was like 3 hours of just driving a day. You know what I mean? Where I do driving for this, but I do it, like, once a week. You know what I mean? I'm out, like... Or 2 times a week driving around aimlessly. Like, it doesn't even compare to the amount of time that I spent just driving around, like, back and forth to work. But anyway, yeah, so then I was like, this job was like the best job that you could get, that you didn't like, that for the qualifications that I had. And so I was like, oh, dude, I can't, like, I just couldn't work for managers. I was like, I can't, because every manager, if you're a manager at a job, more times than not, you're going to be like just a fucking cunt, dude. Because most of the people that I probably have I've probably said this shit before. Stop me if you've heard this before, dude, but it's always the people that nobody really gets along with, that just are already like kind of dicks, and then they get promoted to manager because nobody else wants to do it. The people that are actually qualified to do it don't want to do it because you take a pay cut. Like, a lot of time, like for serving, when I would serve or bartend, it was like, do I want to stop making a ton of money to do a bunch of like not do crazy amounts of, like, obviously there's a ton of work involved in bartending, but I'm just saying, like, I don't have to do all the extra bullshit like on top, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to fucking write schedules and deal with drama and deal with this and deal with that, and you know what I mean? And I'm going to be making more money typically, and I don't have to work as long hours. I'm going to of course I'm not going to take the management position, you know what I mean? So I don't even know why I'm talking about this again. I don't even know where it came from. Oh, because I was just talking about the 1 year anniversary of the podcast and the 5 years of doing reselling. And so, yeah. So then I decided to get into reselling because I was like, I got to get the fuck out of... I can't work for somebody else anymore because they're going to be a dick more times than not. And I've had bosses that I get along with, and like, but those bosses almost never stay at those places. They always go somewhere else, you know? So I don't know if it's just me, but so yeah, 1 year anniversary of the podcast. Gonna keep doing it. I like doing it by myself because I can just fucking do it. Like, I've done podcasts in the past where you had to rely on somebody else. And this is not knocking any other people, but it's like, you know, if it's my goal and my fucking vision to start a podcast, I shouldn't expect other people to be as on board with what I'm doing as I am. You know, unless it's somebody who's like, hey, this is like this is what I want to fucking do. So, you know, the people that help me with podcasts, that have helped me with past podcasts, you know, obviously I appreciate it and all that shit, but it's just so much easier doing a podcast by yourself because, you know, with limited time, you just fucking throw it on. And so that's what I'm hoping for with the video. I can just fucking throw it on. And of course, I don't have a studio space yet, but I'm hoping at some point that I can, you know, get, like, our shed is going to be needing to go soon. So I'm hoping that we can get rid of that shed and then I can put like a space, like put a big ass shed that I can work in and then like move all of the stuff from the house into the shed and then have that extra space in the basement. That would be ideal. So, but we'll see. And then, yeah. So anyway, I don't know what the fuck I was talking about that for, but so yeah. Let's see. So speaking of like selling clothes, I talked a bit about how I found some Balenciagas a few weeks back. So I got them nice and clean. I'm still trying to deodorize them. They were like heavily used, but they're still in like great shape for being as dirty as they were. But once they got cleaned up, they look better. But they each come with 2 shoelaces. So each shoe has like, or each shoe has 2 laces. So you have to lace these fucking things up. Like, I had to look up a YouTube video. I started lacing them and I was just like, oh, this is going to be easy. And then I get to the bottom and I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. So I look on YouTube and sure enough, there's like actual videos on YouTube of like how to lace these shoes up. And it looks so retarded. Like, the laces are all fucked up. It doesn't make any sense. So, like, and all of the videos are like, people who are like, why is this so hard? Like, so the way you have to do it is like crazy. There's like a specific way that they come in the factory. So when I got them, I just unlaced them. I wasn't even thinking about it. And then I cleaned the laces and cleaned the shoe and going to put the laces back on. And I was just like dumbfounded. I'm like, how the fuck do you do this? This doesn't make any sense. So now, once they get deodorized, they'll be good to go up online. But I did the first shoe, and then I had to find another video. This is how hard it was. I tried to follow, you know what I mean, duplicate it, but because it goes, because it goes all these which and every ways, like it's crazy. The shoelaces look ridiculous. They're like Balenciaga track shoes. If you want to look them up, you could look at their laces. Supposedly that's how they come factory. How come every time I sit down to do a podcast, I start getting like a stuffy fucking nose? I don't understand it. It never happens to me. I'm not used to sitting this long, so I don't know if that's what it is. I don't have like a desk or an office job. I'm usually standing, walking around, but I force myself to do the podcast once a week or every other week as it sees fit to my schedule. Did I even finish talking about what I was just talking about? And do I even remember what I was just talking about? That's the bigger question. Probably not. I'm so excited to go trick-or-treating. We watched Hubie Halloween. We watch it every year. We usually have to watch it in bits and pieces because my wife absolutely does not like that movie. She doesn't want. Anytime I start throwing on Hubie Halloween, but that's the thing. She says she doesn't like it, but it's funny. She laughs. That movie is so fucking funny. The grandma in that movie, the t-shirts are just. She wears these fucking t-shirts that are just like so fucking crude and ridiculous. So fucking funny. So yeah, we watched it. I fell asleep a few times, but we watched it like over a long period of time. It was like the whole month of Halloween was just watching Hubie Halloween once. It's like, let's watch something spooky or Hubie Halloween. So, so yeah, I'm excited to go trick-or-treating. That sounds like a good time. Sounds like a good time. All right, let me see what the next item on the agenda is. Oh yeah, so my mom goes to there's a store called Ocean State Job Lot, and it's such a piece of shit. Like I don't even know. It just sells like discounted shit, I guess. I don't know. But they had this promo. I saw somebody in one of the reseller groups on Facebook had posted about this little way to, if you shop at Ocean State, that you can basically get like a free thing of bubble wrap. You buy the bubble wrap. It's like $60 or so $50 or something. I forget how much it was. It was a lot of bubble wrap. And then they give you that same amount of money back in credit to the store. So you basically don't pay anything for it. But you have to actually shop at the store, which I don't do. So I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, will you buy this? And then you can get reimbursed. This is how you get reimbursed because you shop at the store all the time. And so she was, fine with doing that. And so she kept trying to get it. And it finally took forever to get there. And finally she was like, went and got it. They finally notified her and they were telling her they were about to send it back because it had been there for like 3 weeks. She had like never checked on it. She just waited and didn't see anything. So I'm like, well, yeah, you probably should have checked. But when it came finally, it was like, it's like on a little tube, and then it's, instead of making it tight around, it's like, it just wrapped as wide as it can be. So it's just like this huge fucking roll. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because it doesn't fit anywhere. It's fucking gigantic. So anyway, it worked out. I got some free bubble wrap. So, bubble wrap is expensive. So anytime I can get a free bunch of bubble wrap, it's a positive thing. So I'll take it. And yeah, I will definitely take that. Okay. I had an item returned to sender the other day. And anytime that's happened, I've reached out to the person and like they don't reply. Like reach out several times and never hear something from them, which is kind of weird. But I've had that happen a couple times where something was returned to me. I reach out like, hey, there's an issue, blah, 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 blah. So this person was like super chill. They actually reached out and responded. I was kind of hoping I'd get to keep it because it was the Dogma movie on Blu-ray. Did I just say that? A Dogma movie. Sorry. This was like Dogma movie. So it sounded like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger for a second. But it was Dogma on Blu-ray. And so I reached out and I was like, hi, this was returned to sender, blah, 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 blah. And so they wanted to ship it back priority mail. So they were like, yeah, I'll pay for it. Venmo you if that's fine. Blah, blah. So it was easy. I didn't have to like go through a whole thing of trying to get them to send money. So I sent their package this morning. They'll be happy, and boom, it's on its way. But yeah, I thought I was gonna I was like almost like, oh fuck, should I just keep it? This is a sign that I should keep it. But they responded. I thought for sure they wouldn't, because in the past, like legitimately every time that's happened to me, when it gets returned to sender, it's like the person dies after ordering it or something. They don't ever reply. So I would have kept that one, I think, if it had come back around to it. But and then I didn't have any other packages today. I just had I dropped off a baby gate. We sold like this old baby gate that we had that was just sitting there. It's always nice to sell shit like that your kids used for a while. You know, it's sad because you're like, oh, they're getting older, they're not using this shit, but it also takes up so much fucking space. Too much goddamn space. Speaking of space, yeah, I cleaned out that space with the Department 56 stuff, and now I'm hoping to get through like a bunch of shit in the death pile. I was going to take pictures today, but then I forgot I had to do the podcast. So I'm probably going to finish up the podcast, and I have to do some listing because I've been slacking on my Mac. And then I've been like, I was tired the other day. I was going to list, and I just started like falling asleep trying to do it. So I've been going to bed early because I was staying up late for whatever reason, like an idiot. So now I start to get sleepy, and I just go, okay, go to bed. You know what I mean? So I just go to bed like 10 or something like that. Just crazy. And I get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, which could probably get up a little early because 10 to 6, that's like 8 hours, almost 8 hours. But I'm sure it's not constant sleep because I get up to piss and shit. And the kids are always waking me up in the middle of the night. So I guess I still do get sleepy sometimes, you know? I feel like I've fallen asleep doing the podcast before. My birthday's coming up, and I'm trying to think of some stuff that I want. Because if I don't do a list, it's just, I don't think anybody pays attention to me. I'm always like, fuck, video games are so expensive. Christmas comes around, not a video game in sight. I'm like, what the fuck? My wife will get one if I ask specifically for it, you know what I mean? So this year I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm doing like an Amazon wish list. And I'm not like one of those people. I'm like, I like giving gifts. I'm legitimately do like giving gifts. But it's always like, it's gotten to the point now where I'm just like, I've accepted it. You know what I mean? I think probably every dad does kind of get to this point where you accept like what you're going to get. Some awesome shit from like your family. Like my wife got me this thing. It was like a little like Lego display thing that says, Dad, you're our superhero or something. But it's like all made with like superhero Legos. They're not actually Legos. It's like some fake shit. But they look like Legos. And they're not as expensive. So she got that one year, and she ended up having to make it because the thing didn't come in time or something. So she like made it, or ended up making it. So it was really cool. So you get some shit like that. But like for the most part, as far as stuff for you goes, like the shit that you don't want, like, you know, because a lot of stuff that I buy can be used for the business. So like, obviously I can't buy a video game for the business. Well, I guess I could. I mean, if I'm buying it to sell it eventually down the road or invest in it, that's, you know what I mean? If I buy it and keep it sealed. But there's like a lot, like certain stuff that like, you know, if I'm like, oh, I need, you know, podcast equipment or this, that, and the other, it's like that stuff I can all be written off. So there's only specific things that I can ask for as a gift. And so this time I'm just going to be specific, and, you know, I honestly don't give a shit either way. I don't have time to play video games, but I don't want to spend my own money on them. So I put those on there. I'll put some like workout shit that I've been wanting. I still have this fucking like neck or shoulder injury. It's lingering. I started to get it better, and then I don't know what happened. It just, I mean, it's better, but like it's like when I'm sitting certain ways for too long, like sitting right now, as long as I'm sitting back and up, my posture was horrible just now. I've been trying to be more aware of my posture, but like it's hard sometimes because you're always on the fucking phone. And then I was cooking today. I'm like, my neck's always down for cooking, so I just need to be better about stretching my neck. Because yeah, man, when it gets like strained or something, it feels like an injury. And so it slowly is coming back. I was taking it easy as far as working out goes. Now I'm back to working out. Not at 100% strength, but getting there. I've been walking every day. You gotta keep yourself fucking going, dog. You can't be a fat reseller. I am a fat reseller, but I'm not like the fattest resellers. Um, uh, like go walking for fucking candy tomorrow. Trick or treat. There's a neighborhood near us that, because our neighborhood does not do trick or treating at all. There's not really kids in our neighborhood. There's like a couple, but I've never seen anybody. I want to drive down this time and see if there's anybody actually trick or treating in our neighborhood. But we end up going. There's a neighborhood like up the street that we've gone to, and it's crazy. There's not that many people, and they just have so much candy, and they're always happy to see you. So I'm like, if we go there, we're gonna just have way too much candy. It's crazy the amount of candy that kids must get on Halloween. And I see people give it away online. It's just like, it's just an insane. I bet you could sell that shit online. Just sell it on eBay, leftover Halloween candy, or sell it on Facebook for like $5. But man, it's too much. And I like eating candy from time to time, but last year I was pretty good. This year I have been, went to a Halloween party at my cousin's the other day, and she had a ton of, 2 like bowls of candy set out, and I just kept fucking going to town. I got smashed some Butterfingers, some Kit Kats. I had a Kit Kat the other day. I know they make different flavors, but this one was like marshmallow or something. It was actually pretty good. Not gonna lie. My wife didn't like it. She doesn't like. It was a little bit sweet, but she if it's like even a little sweet, she's like, ugh. So, and I'm not like a big sweet guy. I don't like a ton of sweet. I see some of the orders my friends get for like fucking coffee, iced coffee, with the amount of fucking sugar that they put in that shit, like the pumps, just the amount of pumps they put. Anytime they're pumping sugar into your coffee, there's a fucking problem. Like, hey, how many pumps of sugar would you like? 4 pumps? My wife always asks for like half of what they give. She'd be like, can I have half? And they'll be like, 3? You only want 3 pumps? Like, no, I actually want less than that, I guess. Like, just give me like a fucking quarter of what you normally put. 1 pump? It's crazy. All right, let me get back to this list here. Oh yeah, my daughter asked about like, oh, can I ask if these people? Oh, can you talk to this person's mom about them coming over to play? I'm like, oh shit, we're at that time of the. So I have no experience doing this. I don't know how you're supposed to do it. If I'm supposed to reach out to the teacher. I'm sure she's gonna ask about it as soon as she gets in the car. Like, did you talk to mama? Because I told her I'll talk to mama. I'm gonna make her do it. Like, you want to make some friends? Like, fucking hit up this girl's mom, please. So, yeah. So that's always like awkward. She's like, well, she asked like about 3 different girls, but she was like, ask this one girl's mom. It's like, well, I think I have to talk to all of these girls' parents if we're inviting them to our house, and so we'll see. I mean, obviously, I know kids are going to be coming to the house at some point. I don't give a shit. It's honestly, our house is built for kids. That's not what I mean. I just mean like it's always like awkward parental interactions. You know what I mean? It's like meeting new people. Like, I'm too old to be like making friends, because essentially you have to then make friends with the kids' parents and make sure that they're not fucking weirdos, and like they're going to have to come meet you and you want to meet them. And if they don't want to meet you, that's usually a red flag. So yeah, it's just, we'll see. At the last school, they would send home these cards, like, hang out with these people, but they wouldn't tell you anything about it. Like, they would just be like, this person, set a play date with this person. It's like, this is my daughter. I've never heard my daughter talk about this person. I've never, like, I asked about, like, do you know who this person is? Like, no. Like, so why are they trying to get, you know what I mean? Like, there was no additional information, and we just honestly kept forgetting about it. We just forget about shit because there's so much information that you're given every fucking day, either with the school or like just in every general sense of life, like just at work, at online, just everywhere. There's just constantly information. So you just forget about shit. And yeah, so we forgot about that shit. And I just forgot what I was honestly talking about. Sometimes I just start talking and then I'm like, fuck, how did I get to this point? How did I get to this point? Did I finish talking about the Balenciaga track shoes? Like trying to lace them up. I did. I don't know if I ever finished talking about them, but yeah, it took forever, and then I finally got them both, and I mean they're expensive ass shoes, and the other thing I could think was like, dude, I bet you that these are so expensive. Like if they came without the laces, you had to lace them up yourself. I bet you would knock like $200 off. Like that's probably why they're so expensive, because it takes so much to fucking lace them up. It doesn't make any sense. I've also had, so this has happened to me a couple times and it's never happened before. And this is just like a recent thing, as of like the last year, I think. So somebody orders something from me. I ship it. It'll be like a day or two after the item's supposed to be where, it's supposed to have arrived. And they're like, hey, this item isn't showing tracking, blah, 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 blah. Can you refund me, please? And it's like, okay, that's weird. Like, I wouldn't immediately start asking for a refund. Like, and it's happened like 3 or 4 times. And they go, hi, this package is showing like this place. I'm all the way over here. It must be lost. And you're like, okay, like that's weird that you would assume that it's lost. Like, especially since it's going into the busiest time of the year. Like, and eBay, the way that they do that there, it takes so long. So if you're not on top of it, I can see how you would get fucked. Because what you have to do is you have to basically, it's happened every time. So somebody orders something, they're like, my shit's like lost. And then it takes forever in the mail. And so I'll do like a missing mail search. I'll have to call the post office to follow up to be like, hey, this person's looking for this package. Like, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And then eventually they get it, but it's usually like well after you've already. So like if you had insurance, you get paid from insurance because the post office will usually be like, all right, this package is lost, whatever. So then you do get paid back, but it's just a huge pain in the ass. And then it puts your funds on hold until you refund them. And it's just such a fucking so annoying. And well, like it puts your funds on hold. Like, so you can't even refund them because it puts them on hold for like, until the case gets closed. Cause if they open a case and like the tracking gets updated, it just keeps, you know what I mean? It just keeps pushing it out. So it's such a pain in the ass because it puts all your money on, not all your money. If it's a lot of money, then it is a pain in the ass. But this just happened again recently where the person was like a ski suit. It's like $50. So it's not a ton of money, but still it's a good amount of money. And it was like 2 days after when the person would order it. And this person's like, hi, I think it's lost. It's like, why the fuck would you instantly go to lost? And then every single time that the person says that, like normally it'd be like, okay, like it's gonna get there, but every single time that they say it's probably lost, it ends up being lost. And it's very bizarre, and I don't know if eBay like is aware of this but I've definitely reached out to them to be like, what the fuck, like I need to like pull up all of the messages and be like, it's all the same, because they all use the same language. Like that's the thing with scammers. It's really easy to identify them because they talk like a fucking scammer. They'll be like, good day, kind sir. Kindly send me money. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It's got to be some type of fucking scam. I don't know how they get it so that the package always ends up getting delivered after. Like, I'll look and see because I'll keep it because it drives me crazy. Because I'm like, how did this not get there? And why did this person immediately think it was lost? And why were they right every fucking time? And yeah, it's just started happening like the last year. In the last 5 years, I've been selling on eBay for about 5 years, like, this way. I had the account for longer and would sell things from, every once in a while. But it just really did not make any fucking sense. Like, crazy. And it's annoying that eBay doesn't like look at that shit and go, okay, well, this is clearly a scam. Like, but yeah. All right, moving on, because that shit was really annoying. On to something else that's annoying. So I don't know why this pissed me off the other day, but I was driving my kid to school, and then I was coming back, and when you're coming back, there's a turn. And so the person, like the car driving towards you when you're coming back, and then the car, to your left, perpendicular, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the right. Yeah. So to the car to the left that's taking a right, whatever. So you have the stop sign. It's a two-way stop. You don't have a stop sign. Sorry. It's a two-way stop. So the other two cars coming have a stop sign. So it's like a T intersection, if that makes sense. So you're coming from one side of the T. You take a left, go into the base of the T, and you don't have a stop sign. So you can just go right through it. So I know that you can go right through this stop sign. So as I'm driving, I'm not even, preparing to take my foot off the brake. I'm just going to go right through this intersection. I always check to make sure the other cars aren't going, so I go by cautiously. But as I'm already starting to turn, this car is like, gives me the little go ahead signal with his hand. It was like a line of Porsches, which is obviously like, if you're an old dude with a with a Porsche, more power to you. I'm not jealous of your Porsche. I just think that like a group of old men with Porsches just looks so gay. Like if a group of old guys ride up on fucking Harleys, like, that's cool. You're like, oh, dude, those guys are about to fuck some shit up. But if a group of fucking guys show up in a fucking Porsche, it's just going to be, like, the most annoying group of guys that are going to just, like, talk about themselves. It'd just be super fucking ridiculous. I don't know why I think that, but maybe they're all going to be nice. But this guy just pissed me off so much that I was like, fuck all. And I have like a friend who drives a Porsche. And he's a nice guy and shit, but like I could definitely see him hanging out with these fucking people. You know what I mean? Like it's so I was just so mad that this fucking guy was telling me, like, that is the type of person that would tell you how to fucking drive. Like, dude, I already know the fucking rules of the road. You don't have to tell me when I'm already doing the thing that I'm supposed to do. So then the other thing that happened was today. Was it today or yesterday? It might have been yesterday. I think it was yesterday. So I was driving to go to the post office yesterday, and they're doing road work on the road, and there's no signs. Normally there's like a sign that says like road work ahead. So there's no sign, and the speed limit on that road is 50. So I was going like 44. I remember because I looked. So I was going like 44, and they're doing construction in Massachusetts. When they're doing like road work or whatever, there has to be a cop on site to direct traffic. And here's a fun fact about cops. They fucking suck at directing traffic. Like, not even like an exaggeration. Like, some of them are okay at it, but most of them fucking suck at directing traffic. Like, for instance, there was one time we were driving, and there's like cars coming towards us, and this cop is like, you guys go, and he like tells us to go, and my wife is like not wanting to drive because there's a car coming, and he tells us again to go without paying any attention to this other car that he's not telling to slow down. So then he's like aggressively being like, go, telling my wife to go. So as she's going to pull out, he then turns around and sees this car like about to hit us. And then he like gets on that car, and he's acting like that car did something wrong. I'm like, no, dude, you just fucking suck at directing traffic. This shouldn't be your job. Like, I lived in other states where they have somebody there whose job it is to just fucking direct the traffic, and they're fine. But every time I have an issue with, like, we almost got fucking T-boned by this car because this cop's like, go. We're like, we don't want to go because there's a car coming. Like, so, and he wasn't close enough to where he could hear us say that. You know what I mean? It was like, it was on a lot, there was road work and shit happening. So anyway, I'm driving and its speed limit's 50. I'm going like 44. And this fucking cop starts telling me to slow down. I'm like, you motherfucker. So that shit just like, I'm like, I'm under the speed limit. And there was no signs that said, hey, road work ahead. Because I went back and I looked. There was nothing. So I had to come back that same way. But I'm just like, it just really made me mad that he told me to slow down when I wasn't doing anything wrong. I'm like, you came in the last minute and told me to slow down. Like, I'm going under the speed limit. There's no signs that say that there's a road work zone, right? There's no sign telling me to slow down. That shit fucking made me so mad. I don't know which made me more mad. Anyway, so my wife, her birthday's coming up. She's not going to listen to this unless somebody puts it on. Like, unless I put it, I've said this before, unless I put this on her, like, downloads, or, like, she's not going to listen to it. Plus, she does not want to listen to me talk for an hour. She hears me talk enough at home. She doesn't want to hear, like, you know what I mean? She doesn't need to hear more of me. That being said, so her birthday's coming up, and she was asking about this ring that's, like, made out of breast milk. I don't fucking know. So she's got breast milk, I guess, stashed away in case the opportunity had arisen to make a ring out of her breast milk, I guess. But now I have to figure out the size of her finger, and I haven't had to do that since we got married. I can't even remember how I did it. If I just got like a one size, or like, I don't remember how I did it. So now I have to figure out a way to get her ring size and smuggle her breast milk out of here. And send I don't know if I send it's frozen, so I don't know if I send it like dry ice or what, how it works. There's a little bit of alcohol in there too, so I don't know if it affects the color or what, because that was like, you know, the ones that she would pump and dump. But anyway, so I don't know. I got to figure out like a whole fucking plan to get her ring size. So I don't know. Maybe I could tell her, like, hey, babe, so my birthday's coming up, and I've always wanted you to stick your finger in my ass, and then I can have like the sizing thing in my I don't know how I'd get the ring size from that. Anyway, I think I had one more thing to talk about here. Oh yeah, so in honor of Halloween, I had thought of another punishment. It's been a while since I've talked about like punishments for people who leave their yard sale signs up later than the sale. And one of the things I thought that you could do is you could have, in honor of Halloween, you could make a yard sale sign out of their skin and put that up. You know what I mean? If you want to get really even more grotesque, you could do like sell their bones and shit. Make your sign out of their skin and then sell their bones. Yeah, that's what I think of people who leave up their yard sale sign. That's the fate that they deserve. They shouldn't be allowed to walk among us free. They should be put up for our Halloween entertainment and used for decoration. So, all right. That's just about the podcast. It was a full hour, so can't complain that I've never given you a full hour podcast. It's just been a couple weeks. Subscribe to the podcast. I am going to try really hard to figure out how the fuck to get video podcasts, because after a year, it's time to get the video podcast. And then I'm going to try to get a few more things coming up, you know, do some live streams. I still haven't done the second Whatnot show. It's like my wife had a bunch of weekends off, and every weekend we filled it with bullshit. So by the time it was time to do a Whatnot show, we were both fucking tired. So I'm going to try, since it's fall now, I should have a little bit more time. That's when I started the podcast last year. So yeah, get in there and oh yeah, so quick update on my fantasy team. I decided to like sell everything off and not call it quits this year, but just, I'm going to play with a bunch of bums and get a bunch of picks for next year and just see what happens. I still have a chance to, it's a long shot to make it into the playoffs, but if I get in the playoffs with a bunch of scrubs, hey, who knows? So, all right. Thanks.